plus evaluation context. We're just writing that anyhow. So far it works. We don't even know the logic behind what we are writing. That was the early stage of our career. But as time goes on, everybody improves from time to time in one way or the other. We started improving little by little. And we realized that, the thing that was lacking was our knowledge of evaluation context. It means how our DAX, right? How our DAX is being evaluated based on context. And when we say context, what we mean is row context and filter context and context transition. All of these three is what embodies the way DAX is being evaluated. Let me just give us the foundation. Now, there are two ways that you can learn DAX. You can learn DAX, number one, by the categorization of functions. For example, now we can talk about iterators, aggregators, right? For example, when we see aggregator, we talk of sum, average, mean, max. Those are aggregators, right? We talk of iterators. You see anything you hear like X, like sum X, average X, concatenate X. What they do is that they iterate over a table and they evaluate a calculation or an expression row by row. That is for iterators. So you can learn that by the virtue of, number one, the categorization of functions, that is functions that belong to the same category. You're trying to understand DAX in that manner, or you understand DAX by evaluation context. That means you are not trying to understand the logic, how to break down the logic now, how your calculation, how it works, how it is being evaluated. I hope that foundation is very clear to us now, guys. Does it make sense? Okay, thank you. Now, when we talk of row context, there are two ways that row context can happen in Power BI DAX expression. Number one, when you create a calculated column, right? You know that when you create a column, what would that do? For example, you have a column called quantity. You have another column called unit price, unit selling price. You now multiply the two, unit selling price by quantity. What would happen? What will happen is that there will be a row by row evaluation of that your expression. It means that for row one, if row one is unit price 3 and quantity is 4, what will happen? That's 3 times 4 will give you 12 for that row. You will not see the result for row 5 in row 1. It's not possible. Every single row we evaluate by itself individually and return the corresponding result for you. That is row context. So when that happens, we can say row context has occurred. Does it make sense to us, guys? Does it make sense to us?
Yes.
Okay. Another way
Yes.
that, thank you. Another way that row context can happen is when we use what is called iterators. Now, what does iterators do? I will explain in theory. We are going to do some more practical. Now, iterators they bring about row context in the sense that, let's say, for example, before, I told you that everybody is improving. Even me too. I don't know some things before. It was recently I started learning some of the correct ways of doing this thing or understanding the way this thing works. So now you have a column called quantity. You have another column called unit selling price in a sales table. You want to calculate the total sales. What we used to do before then was to create a column that will multiply unit selling price and the quantity column, and now aggregate that column, that new column that you just created. You now aggregate it to now say the sum of that new column to give. But with iterators now, you don't need to do that because it will help you multiply that unit selling price column and the quantity column and give you the corresponding aggregation of that column virtually. So it means that you are not actually creating the column in the actual sense, but virtually it is creating the column for you. And that is the way the evaluation occur. It will create a virtual sense of that column for you and give you aggregation of it. Does it make sense to us, guys?
Yes, sir.
You know that they usually tell us that if you read most of the Power BI textbooks, and whether you use your ChatGPT or anything, you are usually always towards one thing, which is performance and optimization. Now, any textbook you read, they will tell you that it is always good to do what? Always good to create more measures than create calculated column. That the more you create column, the more it affects your performance. The lesser the calculated column, the better your performance, right? So one of the ways that we usually ensure performance too is to reduce the number of calculated columns that we have in our model. Because if you have too much calculated column, it means that it has to first evaluate all the row by row, all the iteration will have to happen first before the aggregation will happen. That is the logic, right? Now, some of us, we used to write that in a very wrong way. And I don't blame us. That is hard. Let's be sincere. Thank God for AI now. That is even helping us. It would have been worse. I'm telling you. Now, some of you, let me tell you what you usually do. You are using iterators the wrong way. And I will explain. What you usually do is that what iterator is meant for is when you are using one or two or more columns. So, but some of you will be using something to calculate one column. That is very wrong. Please stop doing that. Are you getting what I'm saying? For performance sake, stop doing that. If you want to aggregate, just use an aggregator function on one column. It's okay. Now, there is this thing that they usually say that is it what they see or what I think or what I know? I don't even know which one it is. That iterators are not good. Like what I'm saying is that it's not good to have too much iterators in your model because of the way it evaluates your expression, right? So what we are saying is that we are not saying don't use sum x, don't use average x, but don't have too much of it in your model if you don't want to slow down the performance of your report. Now, let me ask Mr. Ola and Mr. Oluwaye one question. Do you think that in a Power BI report, is it possible to have 100% performance optimization? Is it possible? In reality now, not all is our class.
Okay.
In reality. Okay, go ahead, sir.
That actually depends on the model that you are working with, I would say.
Okay.
What do I mean by model? Or the kind of semantic model that you have built in terms of the data sets and all of that. You understand? So when you talk about 100,000 data sets, you know, the way it will work will be differ from when you talk about 100 million data sets. You understand? And the mode that you have shipped, that you have brought it into Power BI, maybe composite mode or model, maybe you are building something like 200 million record now. You know, you can't be using import mode for that. So you would have to like do like a combination of composite model, whereas you have your
Import and
query,
direct query.
the import and direct query. You can build your facts in the query with the import with the direct one, and you can build your dimension with the what with the import mode, and that gives you a composite mode. So talking about what you're now saying now, is it possible to have 100%?
100% perfect. Like
it depends on a scenario. It's not possible 100%.
Thank you. That's what I want to hear. That you said it's not possible. I want us to argue it. I want like good arguments. Mr. Oluwole, what do you think? Is it possible to achieve 100% performance on a report in real life?
Based on my experience in real life, I don't think so. Now, the reason why is that every case scenario is different. Your model will be different from one scenario to the other. The amount of data that you're handling will be different. The means and your data sources are also going to be different. So, and even the visuals that you're going to be showing, they are also going to be different. And all this play a part on the performance of your report as a whole. So there are some cases where you can push transformations back to the data source. There are some cases where some of the transformations, you can't push them back to the data source. Yes, they have to be done within Power BI itself. So all that will affect the performance as a whole. So you need to look at that, and even from your before you even start building, from your architecture, when you start looking at what you need to put together, that also affects the performance of the model eventually. Some cases you can't you can't but structure it in that way because of the way the data is being provided, right? So there will always be some gaps, or there will always be some loopholes, right?
Okay.
And even
Yeah.
depending on the logic that needs to be implemented in the model and even in the report, based on how the requirements come and how the stakeholders want your report to work, right? So all those things are encompass how you build your structure as a whole. So they all have a place in the performance of your reports, right?
Okay.
So for example, let me just give an example. A stakeholder says he wants to be able to use one visual to view 5 different things at the same time by the flip of a button. You automatically know that you're going to have to create disconnected tables using field parameters. And if you know the impact of disconnected tables in your model, the more the number of disconnected tables, it affects the performance. It affects the performance of your model. So sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes it's probably by design. So, I won't say not one size fits all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Olaitan Kolawole, your hand is up. We can't hear you. You are moved.
Hello, thank you. Yeah, I have a question. You said the way iterators are being used, so that it should be used on one column. But there was a
No, I didn't say you
scenario
use on one column.
he said
I said you
because
should
of
stop using it
performance.
on one column. You should stop using it on one column. That instead of using iterator on a column, just use aggregator.
But now I was trying to do something one time. I was trying to create some of like a bridge table, and there was a multiple entry of a part number. So instead I pick max X instead of just like, I don't want to, because when I picked just like max, it was saying that, oh, the model was telling me, you know how this DAS can be very crazy now. So it was when I used max X that it worked. So something like that, it was just on a column.
Olaitan, I do not really understand what you did and things you cooked up in that your Power BI report. But one thing I can advise you guys, maybe probably you are going to treat that topic anytime soon, is that if possible, avoid bridge tables. They complicate your model. So what I advise people is that instead of bridge tables, if you have an STD type 2 table, it means that in the dimension table, you have dimensions repeating. It's just like one we did last week or last 2 weeks, right? Where product ID was repeating because of changes in price over time, right? Old price is 0, new price is 1. That's active. What you need to do is to have a surrogate key. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, when you have a surrogate key, you are not going to go and use that surrogate key based on the 2 columns that are similar to both your sales, your fact table, and your product table to return that surrogate key. The surrogate key will now be what is connecting your facts to your dimension now. You do not need a bridge table. Bridge tables was what we were doing 4 or 5 years ago. That was when we didn't know. But now we know better. Do you understand what I'm saying, Olaitan?
Yes,
So
I do.
I don't know what you want to cook up.
I already cooked it a few months ago.
So why is it working for you? Brother? But the day it will not work for you, I will not be there. I'm telling you the fact too. So be careful what you cook up. Okay. Let's go ahead. I will share my screen now.
I have a question before you move on.
Please go ahead, Isaiah. Go ahead.
Okay,
please.
sorry. I just want to, while the other speaker was speaking, I think he made mention of something like disconnected table.
Yes.
So I will like to.
Okay. Let me explain what it means. So when we say disconnected table, it means that table is not participating in relationship in your model. That is, it's not connected to any of the other tables. It's just standing alone. But what we usually do in cases like that, when we have such in a model, is that we use that function called treat as.
Yes.
So we usually use treat as to activate inactive relationship between tables that are disconnected.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. For example, you probably have a table that maybe it's like an accumulating snapshot fact table that shows like a process life cycle. So you see, for example, the order date, ship date, and delivery dates, and you want to calculate quantity ordered, shipped, and delivered. And the table is not connected to any of your dimension. It is connected. That's the word. That means that you don't have that one to many, whatever in the model. Then you use strict as to activate that relationship in a measure. Do you understand?
Yes,
So
very well.
that's the concept of disconnected tables. So he is saying that the more you have it, the more you have it, the more it affects, because it means that what you are supposed to calculate before based on relationship between tables, you are not calculating them like individually, like you're calculating them individually now. So you have more what's it called? More complex calculations in your something like that. It depends on the scenario anyway. But that's the best way I can explain it.
I have done something similar before where I use disconnected table and I have
Okay.
to calculate DAX, several DAX for something. Just so I use switch and true. So if it's this in my disconnected table, let it be this DAX. So it's not very good. Like even the report was very slow, very, very slow. Like it was not optimized. So it's not
Yeah,
really
you see now,
advised.
somebody that's
Okay.
experienced now is telling us that it's very, very slow. So Isaiah, stop doing it. Okay. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I skip should I skip that part of aggregators and go to iterators? Like, what do you think? You guys already know some average, all those ones now. Abby?
Yes, you can go to
Should I just go
iterators.
ahead? Let's go to iterators, I beg. So I'm still using that my procurement scenario, the procurement stuff I showed you guys the other day. Do I have any? Oh, perfect. So in this scenario now, let's assume that I don't have total amount, which is the multiplication of unit price and quantity. So what I needed to do was not to create a calculated column, but what I needed to do was to create an iterator that would multiply row by row, quantity ordered times unit price, and give me an aggregated sum of the multiplication of the two column without me having to create a calculated column that will add more size to my data model. And that might even make my performance to be very, very slow. So I'm going to come here to my HashDAX, and I'm going to say new measure, and I'm going to say equals to, I'm going to call the total procured, equals to what? Equals to sum X. And how does that work? It will tell me. So sometimes you know that it's not even every DAX that I know. Of course not. How will I even know every DAX? That's not even possible in real life, not in class. So you follow your intelligence sometimes. That's what will help you to write your DAX. I'm telling you. So it's telling me that what I need is a table. I need to first reference a table, which is the order table, the purchase order table. And what is my expression? My expression is that I want you to multiply for me the quantity column and the unit price, right? And I can now close my brackets and I can enter. So the evaluation is being done on a row by row and gives us back the aggregated result. So I'm going to come to my, I don't know, guys, I used to see cat charts on this part. I don't know why. Sometimes I don't see it. Maybe it's
It's
only me that
there.
is, okay. I think I know what happened. I didn't pay for my subscription on time. Okay. So you see now that I can see my total spent, right? I can see it now because of the evaluation that I did. Oh, that's not what I did. No, total procure. Yeah. So is this one clear to you now? Iterators. Is it clear? Any question? Everybody?
Hello, Mr. Dwinga.
Yes.
Now, Still on iterators.
Yeah.
In cases whereby we have a column that has both text and column, both text and number.
Okay.
A column that has both text and numbers, and you're expected to run a DAX function on that column to compute the value, and maybe omitted the letters. I also think iterators will play a very key role in getting that done.
Can you come again? Sorry. You have a column that has like alphanumeric
records, and you're expected to compute the values, the numbers in that particular column.
I don't know what you mean by compute the values. That's where I'm confused.
For instance, in column A, I have 5, 10, 15, and I have ABC. I have A, or maybe NA. NA is a letter. 5, 10 is a number. So, and I'm expected to compute the values for that column to be used in a visual. Yes. Now, I'm saying that iterators also will play a key role in ensuring that is achieved.
I'm not getting it clearly. I beg, no vex.
Okay, maybe I'll just
Mr. Can I come in?
Okay.
Can I come in? Let me try to explain. What he's saying is that there is the possibility that we can have alphabet and numerical value in a column. So using iterator can help us to able to multiply it together, so that if there is number on the, let's say price and quantity now. So if the unit price is containing alphabet now, so by the time you are using iterator, so one column now will be multiplying alphabets with numerical value. So iterator will help you in that space to be able to multiply. If not, you'll be getting error. So iterator is going to jump the one that is having alphabet, maybe return it as NA or maybe null or blank. Instead of you multiplying the column directly, iterator will help you to scale through. It will multiply the one that can multiply and leave the one that cannot multiply. I don't know if I'm right, sir.
I think there's something like that in Excel. There's something like that in Excel. I can't remember the exact name of that function. I can do something like that. I can't remember. I think it's aggregate
I'm saying
function.
that it's not even if error. I'm saying that I'm able to say that it's something we can look into. Like it's something I'm saying maybe after the class.
Probably is going to skip the error and only deal with the one that has the
and
numeric values. That's a good. I know there's something like that in Excel.
There's still if error in that.
Yes, as I say, it's if error, X if error.
Oh, thank you. I've not even used if error in DAX before. I'm telling you.
I've used it before.
Nice. I've not used it before.
Times.
Oh, there's if error in DAX.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, you see now, even me, I'm doing for the first time. Okay. So let's go ahead.
But I think I use Qualys in that case. Sir.
Qualys is if it returns error. Okay,
Qualys is if there's no value. You want it to, you're forcing it to give you a particular value.
A value. But are you saying that we can't use Qualys to if we say if this particular DAX expression returns an error, then give me a 0 in that part? What about
Qualys
that?
Will know that it's an error.
Qualys will do that.
I'm not sure it will know that's an error.
But you have to encode the error, right?
You have to encode the error, but Qualys will just tell you that if there is no value, right, give me a certain value.
Okay.
If there's no value, give me a certain value.
Certain value. That's what even in SQL, that's what I know that we use Qualys for. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me just quickly do another one. So I will just do average procured. And for that, I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm not going to do much on this part so that we can go ahead to the reason why we are actually here, the filter context transition, and virtual tables. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to new measure. I'm going to paste this one. And I'll say, instead of creating a calculated column, what I need to do is to just use an iterator. So this one will now be, instead of sum x now, this one will be average x. Average x. My purchase order table, quantity ordered, multiplied by unit price, and I can enter. Right? I'll come here. The good thing is that you can put this all over like different dimensions to see. So what I mean is that I can bring up a table now, and I can have, for example, from my master table, I can have my product dimension. What is my product name? What is my product name? I have my product name here, and I can, oh, this not this one, not this one. Here's my product master. Yeah, it has a unique list of all the products. Yes, and I can have all of this over, what's it called? Total procured. Yeah, I can have it here, and I can have this one here also. Now, why do you think I'm having this blank? Guys, tell me. What do you think? Why am I having blank? What happens when you do this and you have blank? What do you think happens? Anybody? I taught you guys this in last year. That means probably
there are some values that were not on the facts table. There are some values that does not have a specified product name.
A specified product name.
Yeah, it doesn't have product
inside
name.
The product table, Abby.
Yeah, inside the product. Like, since this product name is from the product table, and
let's confirm. But these are all the 10 products. These are all the 10 products. Yes. Let's look at purchase order. Purchase order. Okay, in this one, actually, we have product ID, right? Okay, we have 1 to 10. So possibly it's a model issue now.
Relationship issue.
Yeah, it might be a model issue now, not what's it called? Not so but if you guys remember the concept of referential integrity, I taught you guys last year that when the foreign key exits without no corresponding primary key from the dimension table, that might bring about this problem. Those are one of the causes that can happen, that can make this happen, right? So you need to like investigate it, right, to see whether it's a model issue or probably a referential integrity problem. Okay, let's go ahead. So let's go to filter context. So when we say filter context in Power BI DAX expression, what do we mean? It means that anywhere we apply, not in DAX, sorry, in Power BI, sorry, when we apply filters generally. So for example, you apply filter on a page. So for example, now I have this table. I have this table, and let me use this cluster column charts. I have these. I have vendors. For example, I have these vendors like this. These are the vendors, right? Why is it showing blank? I'm coming. This thing wants to be disgracing me this morning.
It's showing blank because you have not put a value. It's a chart you are using, not a...
Oh, okay. Sorry, don't mind me. So I have total procured, for example. Total procured. I put that to here. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, now you see that I have total procured per vendor. Now I can decide to add a filter on top of that inside of this chart. So I go here. This is what you guys already know. So let me be fast anyway. Let's say I want to now bring this down to a particular product category now. Right? I can now say where's the okay, based on the particular category, I put the category here on filter this on a visual, right? So I limit the category to probably raw materials. So when I do that, it's going to also filter down whatever I have in my chart down to this category. Why is it not changing? Oh, it's changing. So it's going to filter down the results to only this category name called raw material. So that is filter context. I applied filter on a chart. Okay, let me remove it. I can decide to apply filter on the entire page. So let's say I have another chart like this. I come here. Let's say this one is now based on year calendar now. Maybe I should just change this one to year, right? Oh, I have only 1 year in that data. Oh, let me use month then. Let me use month name. Okay. Now, I have these two charts. Now, I want to filter down the entire page now based on that category name. So I will say filter on this page, and I limit all my charts down to that particular category name. That one is clear to you, right? So that is anything that has to do with applying filter. We can even apply the filter on all pages. You know that if you want to have like a uniform results all over or all for all the pages in your Power BI report. That one is clear. Now let's go to if it's for DAX, for example, we can, for example, modify the filter context. For example, we can have filter applied in your DAX expression. If you do calculate for me this, okay, let me just go do it so that you will see. So I can come here now, for example, and say I want to see the total procured for a particular category. I will just say raw material total procured is equals to what? What am I saying? Calculates total procured that I have already, right? Calculate total procured when, oh, I don't have to close the bracket here, sorry. When what's it called? The subcategory name, that is from the product table now. That will be my DIM products, right? When it is what? So I have DIM products category now. Category name is equals to raw material. Raw materials. I can't even remember now. Okay, so you see now, I'm applying filter. Supposed to apply filter here. I'm using the filter function now, right? So I first have to reference the table, but I'm doing this because there's a relationship between product and sales. That's why I can do this, right? So I apply filter here, and then I have to close the bracket one more time, right? Apply filter on this table, then when the category name is equals to raw material. So I can bring the card chart now. I can bring a card chart, and I can say raw materials, and I drop that, and now I can see total amount that has been procured on raw material, right, as a category. So that is like filter context. You can even modify your filter. Let's say, for example, you want to find percentage. For example, let me just quickly do that also. Our time is really fast spent. I have to be very fast. So let's say you want to modify filter. You can say new measure, and you are going to okay, let me first bring in a table first so that you guys will understand what I'm saying. I'll bring in a matrix table like this. Let me make this one smaller. That one can have more space. Okay, so I bring in a matrix table like this, right? And let's say, for example, I want to see products category name, and I want to see my total procured like this, yes. And what I want to now do is that I want to modify my filter in such a way that it's going to remove filter on that expression. So on this total procured, that means that it's not going to apply any filter based on my raw value. So what I'll do is to come here now, new measure, and I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to use the function called all. This will now calculate for me total procured, right? It should now be all. It should apply all on what? On what? The DIM products. Here's my DIM products. My DIM products, right? And I can close this. So what will happen is that it's going to return the total sum of everything, so that I will now be able to do a division of this my denominator and my numerator, right, to get the percentage. So I can now come here now. I'll write a new measure, and I will now say divide this one will now be percentage. This one will now be percentage contribution, right? It's now be equals to, it will be equals to my total procured. So sorry, divide it. Let me use the divide function. Sorry, divide my total procured by what? By the all that I just did, right? And return 0 in case of what? In case when you're dividing by 0. Okay. And I can press enter now. Now, when I drop this inside of my it will give me a decimal. I can now change this to percentage, right? So this will give me a percentage contribution of all the, let me change this one to 0, all the category names to the total procured. You can see that the highest one is hardware, and these ones they are sharing now. You see that raw material and software, they are sharing the percentage contribution, like the same, they have the same number. But to get the actual stuff, you can just do like a 1 decimal. There will be something that they have that is not the same exactly. You see what I'm saying now? So what I'm saying is that what all does is all removes filter. So instead of your measure to evaluate based on the raw value that you have inside of your matrix table, but since you have used all is going to remove the filter and return the total in all the rows, so that you'll be able to calculate your percentage contribution. Is that part clear to us? Go ahead, sir.
Quick question, Benga.
Yeah.
Can you try something here? Can you replace that all with remove filter?
Remove
I want to
filters. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Try for me, please.
Remove filters. Okay.
Remove filter. Yeah, just try that for me. Okay, yeah, that one.
Okay, then I press enter. The same results, sir.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Same results. Yeah.
Thank you.
But this remove filter is a very nice function, because you can also extend the evaluation. Like you can extend it towards just the entire table. You can extend it towards, like, so what I'm saying, that for example, you can say when it removes filter, when it wants to remove filter, it can leave out a particular column and remove filter on every other column in that table. Something like that. I can't remember exactly how we do that now, but I know that I've done something like that before. Like you get what I'm saying? You are saying remove filter on every other column, but leave out this column. Don't remove filter on this column. Something like that.
Yeah. I think so, you can use keep filter for that, or something like that. Yeah.
No, keep filter is if you want to
if you want to
have a filter on top of the already filter controls that you already have. That one is a different scenario now.
That one is
for the keep filter. And I'm going to quickly show us the difference between the filter and keep filter. So now you guys have seen filter. Like, let's now go to keep filters. Now, let's try something else.
Yeah. Sorry. Will you now say that it's advisable to use remove filters or all?
It depends on how you want to modify the filter context. So I told you that in a scenario where you want to remove all on the entire table, you want to remove filter and use all. Do you understand what I'm saying, sir? But if you want to
remove filters, you can just apply it to the particular.
You can apply a particular column. Thank you. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, exactly. That's the difference. Olaiton.
Yes. Thank you. There's also I remember count row too is just like a remote filter something. But I usually, all remove on all, like when you put a particular table name, it's remove filter on based on that table. But what about count row?
Count row is the table expression. It's not that, it doesn't have to do with filter at all. If you want to count all the rows in a table, that's what count rows is for. Yes.
Okay.
Is it clear? Don't worry, we are still going to even use count row when we get to virtual tables. I have another class, so I'm trying to be very fast. Okay, let's try filter now. Now, when I put my filter, where's my filter? I did a filter on raw material the other time. Let me drag it here. Now, you see that for raw material, total procured for raw material, is only giving me the results in the raw material, what's it called? The raw material raw value. Thank you. Sir. Let's see what keep filter will do. So let me new measure. Let me just copy the measure I have here for raw material and just change it to keep filter. So new measure. This guys, is it clear? Stella, Lovett, Olashini, Olawale, Kosi. Is it clear, everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is.
Let's go to keep filters now. Keep filters. And for this one, I think all I just need is my expression. I don't think I need the table. The reference the table here. Right? Okay. So calculate. Oh, let me make it bigger. Oh, sorry, I have to rename this one too. So let me make it bigger. Everybody can see clearly. Yeah, you can see clearly now, right? So the same way we did filter, calculate total procured, keep filters, category name equals to raw materials. And I enter this. Okay. Let's look at the behavior. It's the behavior I want to look at. So this one will now be raw material total procured 2. Now, they behave the same way in this scenario. But in most scenarios, filter will repeat the same thing all over the rows that you have. I don't know whether what I'm saying makes sense to you. The reason why I usually use keep filter is because we want to only add a filter on top of what we already have in our filter context, right? So filter, we usually most times return the same 1, 2, 6, 7 all over. That is why we usually use keep filter. Am I correct? Is that a normal behavior for you guys?
I'm so sorry. Can I?
Come in.
Yeah, so I don't usually like filter though, because filter is very heavy. Once filter is too much in a model, it's always very heavy. But I prefer keep filter. There was a scenario where I was to track an inventory of 5 products, and I wanted to create a dashboard specifically for that 5 products. So I use keep filter because there are other part numbers and products. So I just keep filter. So when I just keep filter, of course, I've already flagged those products on my products table. So I already not just keep filter and give you the column that keep filter the value to just these part numbers, and it was so superb and nice.
Okay, so for performance, it's better to use keep filter so that it doesn't have to. You don't have to write something that would affect the performance of your report, right? So what you're saying is that keep filter is better for performance than filter.
Yeah.
So because the way it is being evaluated.
Filter is very heavy, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I get the point that it's heavy, but you need to explain to people the reason why it's heavy. Do you understand? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right.
Explain to them why it is heavy. No, don't just tell them that it is heavy. It is heavy. How? What do you mean? What do you mean it is heavy?
I use filter at first. And I got a prompt. There's this Power BI prompt that my visual was not loading. So, and I changed it to keep filter, and that was it.
And it started working.
It started working. Yeah, that's when I closed that.
Do you guys understand? Thank you, Lighton. So do you guys understand the difference between keep filter and filters now, and the performance effects of the two? Do you guys understand it? So let me ask Kosi now. Okay, let me make you understand it. So when you filter 2 is like an iterator. It works like an iterator in the back end. It will go to your table, your reference table, and start looking for that exact thing that you filtered on. Do you understand what I'm saying, Paul? It will go and start looking at your tables row by row and start looking for that thing based on filter. Now, what keep filter does is that keep filter does not work like that in terms of evaluation. What is happening is that the current filter context that you have will be there. It now adds on top of what you already have in terms of the way it evaluates by just going specifically for that thing, and not having to evaluate expression over every row in the table before it can return the corresponding result for you. Do you understand it now, Paul, and everybody?
Yes, I get it now.
It's clear, right? Okay. So we can move on to the reason why we are here today. The hardest part of that. Not hardest part anyway. It's just that maybe it's the understanding that is the gap. Is the one we call context transition. Now, I want everyone to be attentive in this part. Please, I beg you, stop cooking, stop turning the eba in the kitchen, and stop with your burner. That you are I know some people are warming up like this. I know they are in the kitchen. Well, that's why they turn up their video. They are warming up now. It is well, no problem. Now, I have to be fast because of our Muslim brothers and sisters. I need to go and break their fast. Oh, fast has ended though. I've forgotten. Some of you not even share meat for us, but no problem. We are not angry. So
this is not meat time. It's the layer that is meat time.
This is not the meat time. Oh, okay.
In 2 months, 11 days, that is the meat time.
Nice one. When I was in Nigeria, I used to eat layer meat too. I know they miss some. Okay. So when we say context transition, what we mean by that is this. When your row context now becomes filter context, when your row value becomes a filter, I'm going to explain that for you, and I want you guys to understand it. And I want you guys to go after this class and do more digging to know it better. So what do we mean by that? If you look at this hardware, raw material software, they are our row value, Abi. It means that any measure we drop on this table is supposed to evaluate based on what is available on the row. Do you understand what I'm saying now? I have a measure called total procured, right? I have a measure called total procured, and I drop the measure in this table. It should give me the result of that measure based on what I have available inside of my rows on this table. Does it make sense to you what I'm saying? Does it make sense, Kosi? It makes sense to you, right? Yes or no? Kosi, are you here with us?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So, but when I'm now using that same row value as the filter, it means that what is supposed to return for me is a result based on the values I have in my row, which is the subcategory, which is the category name rather. But when I'm now using that same row, that is, I'm modifying the context, I am manipulating the level of granularity of my intended results. I'm using the same category name that is supposed to be my row value. I'm now using it again as a filter on top of my expression. I don't know whether I'm saying makes sense to you theoretically. Okay. Don't worry. We are going to do this. We are going to look at the maximum. Okay, let's go back to the table itself now. Let's go and see. Let's go to so that this thing will make sense to us. The purchase order. Okay, it has a date, right? Wonderful. Let me pick a particular date for it. Let's see, for example. Let me pick a random date, 20th of January 2025. Okay, let's go. I want a date that I bought the same, like different products was purchased. Let's try that on the delivery table now, not procured. So let me go to actual delivery dates. Let me pick one date, the one random date there. 28th of January. Okay. I'm looking for a scenario whereby the same product was brought. Oh, this one does not have product information. How did I create this table like this? This is also product ID, the purchase order ID, the delivery ID. No. I'm supposed to have. I didn't create this table very well. Sorry. Let me go back to my purchase order. Maybe that's
related in your data that you want to show us. It doesn't really matter.
No, what I'm trying to achieve is I want to see the maximum purchase in a day for a particular product.
At a table view level, right?
But yes, I want to see the maximum quantity that we have purchased so far in a day. because the evaluation now is in a day in a month, right, of our transaction with the vendor now. So don't worry, I'll make it make sense. I'm coming. So this is the other date, right? So it's possible that we buy the same products from different vendor in a particular day in a month. Am I making sense? So I want to see the highest quantity. So let's say we are in sales now. A stakeholder can say, in a month, what's the highest amount that we have made on this product in a day in a month? Does it make sense to us, guys? Okay. So, for example, January, we have January 1 to January 31st. Every day we sell products in sales. We sell. It's possible that in a particular day, one product will be sold to different customers. One product will be sold to different customers. It means that the way it will appear in our table is like customer A, 50 of that product, customer B, 20 of that product, right? I want to know the highest a sales rep has sold in a day for a particular product in a month. Does it make sense? Does it make sense, guys? Okay.
Yeah, it's making sense.
I will make you understand it better now. Let me copy this table. Or let me just copy this table.
Can you type that just in the chat? Just the requirement. Highest in a day.
Highest in a day in a month. Let me type it in the chat. Highest procured in a day in a month. Don't worry, it's going to make sense to us now. Okay, so this I'll tell you what I'm trying to achieve, but when I say context transition. So let me remove all this total procured, blah 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 blah. Okay, let me make this bigger so that everybody can see clearly. Increase. So I'll go to row headers, yeah, and I'll increase the size to 20. Okay, you guys can see clearly now. And I'm going to make sure my values too is 20 so that it can be bold and clear. I'm going to bring in my total procured. My total procured is going to be here. You can see how much I've spent for it. Now, I want to know in this category name, how much is the highest that I've procured in a day, in a month? So what I'm going to do is that probably I'm going to bring in the month too from the calendar. That's my month name. Okay. Let me break this down. So to make this make sense to us, I will do something to make it very clear to us what I'm trying to do. So let me open a new page. Let me bring in my slicer. And I'll bring in my year. I think I have only 1 year anyway. And my month name. Okay. I have year and month name now. I have a table like this. You guys will see what I'm saying. To make sense to you now, just hold on. I have this table like this, and I have a list of all the dates. Here's my date. I have it here like this. All the dates. Let me now filter down only to April 2025. Just April alone. April, right? Or let me pick March. Or let me pick April, anyone. Doesn't matter. Now, I now bring in my total procured. So my total procured, where is it? Oh, yeah. Aha. See where I'm going to, guys. Now, this is only for April 2025. If I want to see the highest I've spent in a day in this month, what will I do? I would come here to arrange descending, Abi. See now, it's telling me that the highest I've spent in a day in that month is what? It's on the 24th of what? Of April. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense, you guys?
Yeah, we're getting it.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Highest that I've spent in a month, in a day in a month for total procured is on the 24th. And this is the amount. That's the same thing we want to now return as a measure. if we want to do it, we don't. What I'm saying is that we don't have to manually come to here to come and say, oh, filter down to April as arrange your total procured descending. If you are still doing that, that means you don't understand context transition. You can modify. It means that your row value can now become your filter. It means that months that is supposed to be the row value, or the date rather, that's supposed to be the row value, is now what you are now still using again as the filter in order to modify the level of granularity of the results that we wanted to return. Does it make sense to you, theoretically? Okay. So, hours that I've spent in a day, in a month, right? How will I get that? So I'm going to come back to this place. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to say new measure. And I'm going to say max procured in a day. I'm going to tell you how this logic works behind the scene. How it works is this. I will say max x, just give me the maximum. Now, I will use this function called values. Can anybody tell me what value does? Values, what does it return?
Unique.
Anybody?
I think unique.
Unique what? Mr. Lajide Usman, you are here, and I didn't know.
It returns unique, but I don't know unique of something. I can't remember.
It returns a distinct list of something. So it returns a table in the actual sense. It returns a table. But when you are using it inside of a measure, it becomes a virtual table. Right? It returns a distinct list now of something. So I have values, right? And I want it to give me a distinct list of all the dates, even though I know that calendar date already has the date, but that is the way I'm writing my expression. So it's giving me so values will say, okay,
wait, Benga, I'm so sorry for coming in.
Go ahead, please.
I got confused a little bit. Value, so there's actually value and there's actually values, because I've used value before and it wasn't aligning with what you just said right now. I was confused. So value is different from values.
Value and value. I think I've not used value before.
I've used value before, and it's something else that I use it to do. I actually use it to convert a text string. That I said,
I don't know. I don't know. I've not used value before.
There's value and there is values.
Values. Yeah. But these values, what it does is to return in the context of a measure.
Now I understand this one now. Yeah.
Yes. So in the context of a measure, what it returns for you is a virtual table. Because if you have used this value while creating a calculated table, it will have returned the table for you. Do you understand, sir? It will have returned a distinct list of the rows in your table for you. Assuming you are using it to create a calculated table. But in a measure, we call it a virtual table. It means that the table does not exist physically, but it exists inside of the measure. Do you understand? Yeah. So now, when this one returns a list of all so I have to even give, a list of all the dates that we have. That's like on the left side now. Now we want to now return, what's it called beside it? We want to return, sorry, I'm not done. I press enter. We want to now return the total procured, right? We want to return total procured. It means that give me all the dates, give me total procured beside it, and now give me the maximum total procured. That's the max X. So this one will return the table. These two like this will return the table. All the dates. Beside all the dates, you have total procured for all the dates. Total procured per date. Now give me the maximum total procured per date. That's the max X. Now I'm not going to press enter. Right? Now, if I now return this, bring this down in my table, what is this telling me? It's telling me that the highest I have spent on hardware in April is 67,000. This is the total I have spent so far in April, total for the entire month. But total I have spent per day in April is $67,056. Let me go back to the formula again. I want you guys to understand. Even if it's only this one you understand today, and we are done with the class, it's fine by me. Let me explain it to you again. What I want to achieve is the maximum I've spent on in a day. So I told you that in a month we have different days, right? Day 1, for example, in January, day 1 to day 31. Now, this way the expression works. Let me bring in an Excel file. Although I have a video on YouTube, on my YouTube, on this topic. Let me make you understand what is going on here. If I bring in the Excel, maybe you guys will understand it better. Now, let me. Come on. Okay. Now, look at this. I have January 1. I spent 20 something. I spent $20. January 2. I spent, okay, same January 1 now. Same January 1 again. I spent another $10. Right? This might be like vendor 1. Vendor 1. It's money from vendor. Because sometimes we don't buy the same product from, we usually buy one product from different vendors because a vendor might not be able to supply us everything, right? So we purchase from different vendors. Now, and I have January 2. I bought 50. I spent $50 now. Maybe it's vendor 3 this time around now. Who knows? We don't even care about the vendor. Now, this is the stuff. What my expression will do? I'm telling it, this expression, this part here, like I said, values. Values will return for me a distinct list of all the dates. It means that this 1st of January that appears 2 times now will now become 1 like this. Based on how my tables are related, based on sales table, based on how my order purchase table is related to the calendar. Now, I'm doing this in relation to the calendar table, to the purchase order table now, which is my fact table. What I'm saying is this. What we are trying to do is this. Let me make you understand it. So instead of this January 1 to now appear multiple times, it will now appear just once. And whatever I've sold or I've purchased in January 1, will now become one single row. That is 30 now. I will now have 30 here. Instead of having 20, 10, I will have 30. It means that it has summed up everything I've spent on procurement for that particular day. It has summed it up as in one row. That's the virtual table. So instead of me having different dates, the same date appear multiple times, just return a distinct list and give me total. That's what you are seeing here in this. So I have the measure already written. That's my total procured. Give me total procured per each distinct list of dates that I have. Does it make sense to you up to this point? Is it clear to you, Mr. Osman?
Yeah, I'm good.
This is your voice is cold today. Okay. So I'm not saying that, okay, when you have now given me that list of dates together with their aggregated total procured, now give me the maximum of that. Paul, your hand is up.
Can you guys stop jumping?
Yeah, thank you, sir. So my question is it possible to create an app that can let us know the particular date? Because I feel
I will do that.
This kind of
okay. I come for you today, Paul. I know you ask me this question. Now why I prepare? Now why I prepare for you? Say
I know that
you ask. Me, I know that you ask. I know. That's why I prepare for you. Say no, I don't go agree. Today, not today. Okay, let's go. So, is this part clear to us, everybody? Before I go ahead to the one that Paul wanted to do. Is this part clear?
Let me try and say it. Maybe I understand it. So, the value calendar returns distinct dates in the calendar table. then it sum it by the date, then give us the marks of it.
Can you come again?
By the total procure. Like the value calendar dates return dates, like distinct dates in the table, like in a tabular form. Then it sum each is total procure per each day in that virtual table by this total procured measure. Then it gives us the marks of it. Then it gives us the marks of it. That's what this mass procure in a day will give us, if I'm correct.
Yes.
All right.
You are correct.
Right. Thank you.
Mr. Benda, I have a question.
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. We are using a calendar. Can I see the calendar dates before I ask my question? Okay. There's no need. I'm fine.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one way Paul asked me, say, you want me to return the exact date that we had, that we procured the most in the months. For that one, it might be a little complex, but the way we can break things down is by using variables, and I'm going to explain. So I'll come here to my new measure, and I will say, shall I call this in Paul's request? Dates, let me just call it dates of highest purchase. Right? Okay, I will now use variable. I will say my first variable. I can call it top procured. Top procured in my first variable. And I will now say I can still use the same values. I can use add column. Okay, so I'm still going to use my virtual tables that I told you about. So I'll say add columns. So this one will return a table, a virtual table, because I'm writing it in a measure. I'll say add columns, values, right? I will still return my calendar dates. My calendar date here like this, right? What am I adding? I'm adding total procured beside. Okay, I'll first give it a name. Sorry, I'll give it a name. I'm following my what do we call it? IntelliSense. So I'll call it total procured again. Total procured, right? And I will now bring the expression. That's my total procured. Now, assuming you don't have the measure, what you would do, let me explain to you. What you would do is that you are going to use calculate and do a sum of the procured, the total procured column inside of your purchase order. Now, you have to use calculate because it has to transition it properly into the correct filter context that's supposed to be. Okay, but because I already have a measure, so I don't need that, right? So I'll tell it to return this, close my brackets. So this one is returning the table. Now this one will only return for me the list of all the dates and to return for me total procured for each date. Now I have another variable. That will now be, I'll use what is called top n to only give me the top based on total procured. Top n. Now this one will now say top n. Now based on don't forget that this variable returns a table. Add column returns a table virtually. Now, say top n, this top procured table that I have up here, right? And oh, sorry, I want the end value. Give me the number one row in this table. Here's the name of the table. Top procured. This table that I created in this first, I say add column, give me values and total procured. Now, it should be based on what? It should be based on total procured. I say give me top one in the table. It should be based on total procured, and it should be based on descending. It should give me descending. It means that arrange the table descending and give me top one from that table based on total procured. Does that make sense to us, guys? Does it make sense, guys? Are you here with me? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, I will now say, I'll now tell you to do what now? I'll now tell you to return for me. This is what I want is the date. Now, I can now use max X in this scenario. Now, the max X is not actually giving us max. Don't forget that I have filtered down based on top N. I have filtered down this top procured table to only give me the number one row based on what? Based on total procured. If you arrange descending now. That means that this one will return just one row. Does it make sense? Does it make sense, so guys? So I'll now say max X of this top N table. No, this one is not a table too. A top N table, right? It should now return for me. I'll say format, or let me just return the date itself. But let's say I want to return the day, the day name. So, but I want to return the date. So I'll say just max X, the top N table that I created, the virtual table that I have here, that has just one row inside, return the calendar. Now, the max X here is it's because we want to have a scalar value. Because this top two here will return for us a table. And we don't want a table result. We want a scalar value. So this max X here is not actually giving us any max anything. We're just using the max X here because we want it. This max X is serving as a scalar extractor to just say, okay, I don't want a table result. I want a scalar value. So return the max X, return the calendar date of. So this one gives me one row because of the top N, just one row in this table, in this top procured table. Now, return for me the calendar dates. That's what I want. But I need an iterator. It doesn't matter whether I use max X or EX or whatever. It doesn't matter. Max X is not giving max anything. I already know that I have just one row in my top N table. But just serving as a what? As a scalar extractor. Does it make sense to us? Then you see to now return for us the dates based on the dates that we have in this one row in this top N table. So I'm going to commit now, and you will see now if I drop this inside here, it will return the dates. It will return the dates that I had the highest purchase in this month for this particular category name, product category name. Does it make sense? Paul, is it clear to you now? Thank God, say Paul, no catch me today. Paul, you asked the question, does it make sense to you now?
Yes, easily clear. Thanks so much. Can you help us copy and paste the DAX in the chat box? Sir?
Okay, but let me know, guys, if you don't understand the DAX, I can re-explain the DAX expression to you again. I can re-explain.
My question is that can this be achieved with summarize?
Of course, now you can use summarize, you can use add column and values, you can use which one again do we usually use it? We can even add a filter on top. We can even add a filter on top. Depending on how you want to write the expression.
Because I've done something similar like this and I use top N summarize.
Top N summarized. Anything is possible. So far you understand your results. It will determine how you write your logic.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
True. Yeah. Thank you.
Rafia, can you tell me exactly what you want me to explain? I don't understand your message.
Variables. I think what she meant has to do with the VAR that you declare.
Okay. So Rafia, when we want to write a complex expression, it's always advisable to always use variables to break it down so that you can have like a step-by-step logic. Do you understand? The first thing that I did here is to declare my first variable, which is returning a virtual table. I told you what, okay, I'll still explain anyway. I say virtual tables, what they are doing is that we want to have a scalar value at the end of the day. We want a scalar value. That is one single value. That's what the measure does anyway. But what we want to do is that for us to achieve what we want to do, we need to first write expressions that return a table. In this scenario, what I want is the date that I had the highest purchase in the month. Now, what I did was that my first variable, this add column in itself returns a table. If I'm using to create a calculated table, it will have returned a table for me if I'm using it to create a calculated table. Now, but because I'm writing it inside of a measure, it becomes a virtual. It means that the table does not physically exist inside of my model, but it exists only within the context of my measure. Does it clear? Does it clear? Say English. Is it clear, Rafia? Now, this one will give me a list of all the dates together with all the total procured. Date 1, 20. Date 2, 30. Date 3, 40. Thank you. Now, the top end, you say, give me the top of the transaction. It should be based on total procured. Well, it means that rearrange the table descending based on total procured and give me the top one in the table. That will return the row that has the highest procured. Has the total highest total procured, right? In this my first table here, that has a list of all the dates and it has a list of all the total procured. And I said, okay, because what Paul want me to return is the actual. I already have the total highest I've spent in a day, in a month. Now, give me the dates. That's when when you use a variable, you have to use a return statement. Say, I have my logic 1, I have my logic 2. Now, return for me. Return is the final answer you want it to return. Now, I want it to return the date for me. But because what I have is a table, I have to use an iterator to just serve as a scalar extractor for that particular time because of what I want to achieve. Is it clear, Rafia? Is it clear?
Hello, Mr. Benga.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I just add something to what you said about?
Please add.
About variable, just for her to.
Okay, now, please go ahead.
Let me take you to elementary mathematics, which, if this will help you, let's say that you are asked to find x plus y, and you are given x, like x equals to 2, y equals to 5. So x plus y will be 5 plus 7. So if you remember your simple substitution method of doing computing mathematics, so that x equals 5 is like a variable. So wherever you see x, you replace it with what? With 5. So what it's doing here also is something like that. So whenever you use VAR, you're already informing that you want to do something like that. So you have VAR, which is a variable. Then you now have a parameter like your x. So this top underscore procedure is more like x equals to this particular, the first computation it did, which is add columns, values, top procedure, and so that is more like your x equals 5. So it's like you declare your first variable. So yeah, we call it variable. So the first variable here is top procedure. In simple math is like x equals to 5. Then the second one is also this, which is your y in mathematics, which I cited is like your top n underscore there. So what you just need to do, once you can know your basic DAX formula of what add column means, values are not, then you can be able to use it in variables whenever you want to compute something complex. So the return here is more like your final answer, what you want to return. So if the question says the final answer should be x plus y, so your own return here is what is the request that Paul made, which he computed as a DAX as a return here. So if you can understand that concept of your simple basic mathematics, and you understand the rules guiding some formulas in Power BI or in DAX, you should be able to use that idea of, okay, I can have a variable called y, compute the whole formula, have another variable called s, compute the whole formula, then you now return whatever you want to return based on the requirement of the stakeholder. So that's it, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Isaiah. Anybody, any other question? Before I go to the last part of the class, which is the virtual tables now. Anybody? Is it interesting to you guys? Is it hard? Is it boring? People are silent. I don't know. It's very unusual.
So
Stella. Stella Lovett. Adedoyin Akin Shemoyin Olubumi. Blessed.
Sir, I got it. Yes, sir.
Okay, you got it. I know some people here, they know that, so they just come and say, come and see what we are doing. Eh?
No, I don't think it's about.
Well, please, sir, sorry,
Sir?
I would like to ask questions.
Okay, go ahead, love it.
Please, will the video of this class be available?
It will be available, but not now.
Okay.
It's about very soon to be available. Please, guys, Isaiah.
I'm here, sir.
Please share me a list share them the link to our YouTube. Please, everybody, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please use that to support the community. Support us, please. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because this year we no go agree. We have a lot of plan for this year. After this bootcamp, we're having SQL bootcamp, we're having Azure bootcamp, we're having Fabric bootcamp. If I possible, we're having DBT and Snowflake bootcamp. So this year is fully packed. So don't say that this year, say we not try for you. Oh my God. Oh God. Okay, let's quickly go to virtual tables. I have another class. The next, God help me. In the next 20 minutes. I have to quickly rush this part. So, what do we mean by virtual tables? Virtual tables are tables that exist in a simple way. Let me explain it. There are tables that exist in a measure. So when we say physical table, it means that the table physically exists. I'll give you an example. For example, I want a table. Let me just create a table now. I'm going to go click on any table here and say new table so that you guys can understand the concepts. Oh, Mr. Aluwale, your hand is up. Sorry.
Yes, before we go too far, I just want I want to draw us back to the original question, which is calculate the highest procurement is it the highest procurement in a day? No, the question was, give me a second. It was highest in a day in a month.
Yeah.
I don't think we've answered. Have we answered that?
Of course not.
Highest in a day in a month. So
yes,
what
now,
I was
maybe
I know where you calculate. What I was thinking is overall highest in a day.
Mm-hmm.
In all the months.
No.
Okay, now I understand what you're going.
It's the total per day in a month. Highest
in each month. Okay.
In each month, yes.
So you just put that in a table and put that in
exactly
for everybody to say okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So as I was saying, virtual tables. Now I said I wanted to create a table, right? And I said new table. So there's I can use some functions. For example, I want to return a table, and I want that table to give me just like I did the other time. Say values. I say values, and I reference the table name. What's the name of the table that I can use as this one? Or let me use the purchase order. The purchase order table. When I do this, let me see what will happen. It will create a table for me with a distinct list of everything I have in the values that I have in now. The purchase order table itself has how many rows? 150. And when I do these values will return for me all the. So in case I have duplicates now, it will give me a distinct. That's what values will do. It will give me a distinct list of rows, like a distinct rows rather in that table, right? Okay. Now, if I'm using this same value in a measure, How will it work? Let's say, for example, I want to know, let me tell you how we are going to be using this in your place of work. For those that are not strong in DAX like that, people like me, and that does not know DAX very well yet, are still learning. How we will use this is that if you find yourself in situations whereby your stakeholder, okay, let me tell you an example. Some years ago, that was in 2022. Yes, when I was in AB InBev, I remember that my manager called me and said, Benga, give me, because I was in transportation. I was in transportation department. He said, give me a count of trucks that have done more than 7 trips. Give me a count of what? A count of our trucks that we have, the trucks that have done more than what? 7 trips. Now, how to get that is using virtual tables, right, in your measure. It means that the expression that originally would have returned a table, I'm now using that same expression to return a scalar value. So don't worry, it will make sense to you. Now, let's look at the example, and let me see what we can do here. Okay, we can say, good one. We can say, give me a count of products that their total purchase is above 10,000. Should we go ahead now, guys? Can we start? Should we go ahead? Do you understand the requirements?
Can you say that again?
Count for me. Give me a total count of products that their total procured is above 10,000. Does it make sense? Oh my God, people are not responding again. People are tired.
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir.
It makes sense.
Give me a count of products that their total purchase is greater than 10,000. Let me go ahead and do it now. So I'll go to my hash DAX table, new measure. I can use summarize. I can use values together with add column and count rules. I can use select columns. Don't worry, I'm going to do a video on this virtual table. That's my next plan for my YouTube channel, so that you guys can go there and watch it. Before next class, you will see like that virtual table as a topic, like a whole topic. You will see it. This is the point now. My requirements is to count. What am I counting? I'm counting products. I'm counting products with total procured above 10,000. Okay, so I'll tell you what I will do. I'm still going to use my virtual tables idea. Now, the first thing that I need is all the products. I'm going to say values. And when am I returning the values? I'm returning the product ID in which of my table? That's my master. Let me use the master table, the product master, to give me a list of all the products. Good. But what I want is for you to give me. So I'm going to put add column, because I don't know what add column does now. It's adding a new column to a table. And this is a table on its own. These values and then dim product master. Give me a list of all the products. No, I want the column now. Why are you giving me just the? I want the column, the product ID, the product name. I say product name. Let me product ID. No, I don't want Wala. Product ID is better. Aha. And now say, give me, put total. What's it called? I need to call it a name. Total procured. Right? And what is my expression? I have total procured as a measure already. Okay. Now, this one has given me a table. Add columns, return this, and give me total procured beside each distinct product ID. Abi, a distinct list of, let me put a comment. Distinct product ID, right? This one is what? My total procured expression. Okay. Now, it has given me all of these, right? Now, I will now add a filter because don't forget I want it to count it for me based on total products that have total procured. That's what that is more than 10,000. So I'll add a filter on this table or this my virtual table, and my filter is what? Is when total procured. So you see that in my IntelliSense, it's telling me that this add column is to this point is a table, and I'm adding a filter expression on top of that table. I will now say, I will now say the filter I'm adding is when this total procured now is greater than 10,000. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 more zeros. That's the filter. Okay. I'm going to close my brackets to close the filter parenthesis. Now, I'm going to add one thing on top again. Don't forget that I want to count the product. I'm not saying I want to count the product that has total procured greater than 10,000. So I'm not going to use my count rules now. My count rules, right? And I'm telling you to count this filter. I'm going to count when this condition is met. I mean, the filter applied, right? It should count the rows in this my virtual table that I have. The table is just in memory in my measure, not physically existing in my model. So I'm not going to close the brackets. So what it's going to do now is that, I'm supposed to close the brackets in this part. So what I'm going to do here is that it's going to go and count the number of rows. After creating the table first, create the table for me here. These first 2 lines, these first 3 lines, these 3 lines here, will create a table for me. And what's that table? Give me all the product ID and give me their total procured. And now add a filter. Only this table now, the filter I'm applying on top of the table, on top of the virtual table, it only limits the results to only when total procured is greater than 10,000. I'm not saying when I now have that table that I've applied that filter on, now help me to count the number of rows that I have in that virtual table. So this one will now give me the count of all the products that their total procured is greater than 10,000. Does it make sense? So I will enter. I will commit this now. If I come and bring it to my card chart now, it's a card chart. Here is that my measure. Aha. If I bring it on top here, it's telling me that there are 11 products that their total procured is what? Greater than 10,000. How many products do I have? We are going to test this out, and I'm going to show you how we are going to test it out now. I will go and do the same thing on a table for you to see how this works. I'll do the same thing on a table. So I'll come back to this table that I created here. I will change it. I'll do the same thing. I will say add columns, values. Give me a distinct list of all the products ID in the dim product master. Here's my product ID. Aha. Right? They give me the total. Oh, I have to write the name of the expression. I've called it total procured. Right? And I want to return what? What I want to beside that list of all the product ID is the total procured. Right? Now, let me first enter this one. Wait to see what will happen here now. You see that has returned a list of all the products, Abby, with the total procured beside it. That's what I have here. Now, what I'm not saying is that it should, and I want to apply a filter on top of that. Say filter. Add a filter. And what would that filter do? The filter will only filter it down when total procured is greater than 10,000 now. And also press enter here. What do you see now? It has given me, it has applied that filter on top of the table. The table is returning for me is based on when total procured is more than 10,000. Now, if we now start to count, how many rows does this return? 11. The same result we got. Let's say we want to say total procured greater than 150,000. Let's change it now. 150,000. 1, 2, 3. And I press enter. It will return how many rows? 8 rows. If I go back to that measure now, and also change that one to 8 rows now, and I say it should be greater than 150,000, sorry. You see that the return will change from 11 now to the 8 I got on the table. See now, 8. Do you understand? This one, the difference is that this one is a physical table that I can see physically. But I cannot be, when they ask me for something, I cannot be coming to create this kind of table for me to now be counting the rows. I have to have it as a measure. That's why virtual tables are very, very great. It means that I can create a table in memory inside of my measure, and I can use that to still return a scalar value. Does it make sense to us, guys? Does it make sense to us? We have come to the end of today's class. Tomorrow, let's prepare for another interesting topic, which is on security. So, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Any question for me?
Sir.
Yes, Mr. Benga, I think someone is raising his hand. Abdulaziz.
Oh, okay. Abdulaziz. Can't pronounce his name.
All right. Thanks. You don't have to. Yeah. So I noticed that the number of row count, it's also taken into account the total, which can be misleading. Total. Is there any way to that? Yeah. So we have 10 products, but we're counting 11 products.
Okay, you mean this one, Abby? I don't know why this thing is showing actually. It might be a model issue. You know what? Let me do something. Let me go back to my model. Continue what you're saying.
No, that's just what I need to point out.
Because it's from my DIM product master. Okay, you know what? Let me use the order table, which is my initial table that I had. Where is that table? Say this DIM. Let me use from the DIM products. Don't worry, I will try something now. Let me try it from the DIM products, not product master, because that one is not connecting directly to what's it called? To this thing. Okay, let's see now. See that it's off. Is it clear, Abdulaziz? Hello, Abdulaziz.
Yes.
So I think I was using the wrong table anyway. I was supposed to use the one that is connecting directly to the purchase order table. You know that we had to create. You know that last 2 weeks we had to create this product master because we wanted a unique list, because our initial table is an STD type 2 table. Is it clear to you, Abdulaziz? So guys, I think this is the one I'm supposed to use actually, not that other one. So let me change this one. This one, it should be the product ID coming from the initial STD type 2 table and not this one. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Nice one. That means you are very, very observant. Okay, guys, I'm already tired. We'll see you again next week. Say next week. Tomorrow, sorry.
Tomorrow.
Enjoy the rest of your